My chosen use case scenario looks at Moonpig, a company who provides special occasion gifts and cards. The company have asked their market analyst team to analyze past marketing campaigns across different platforms such as social media, email campaigns, TV ads, etc., with the objective of developing a customer information database. The goal of this database is to support the marketing team in analysing their most successful campaigns and understanding the most effective way to implement their campaigns in the future. It will also help the team identify what consumers are most valuable to target in the future based off their click rates, website visits, social media interactions, and orders associated with past campaigns. This will overall help the marketing team to make data-driven decisions to improve their campaigns in line with customer wants and needs and generate better awareness and engagement with future campaigns. As we can see here, this is the code that I implemented in order to get the tables into my database. So the first table I created was a campaign table. This has campaign ID, name, start date, end date, and channel. Campaign ID is set as an integer here, with campaign name set as bar chart, which is characters, and the limit is set as 30 characters. The primary key here is campaign ID, and then all the other tables follow a similar layout. So here we have clicks. The only difference here is we have obviously the clicks timestamp set as a date time rather than just a date. Obviously we have the integer values, and then we also have campaign ID and customer ID inserted as foreign keys because they exist as the primary keys in other tables. Then we have the customer table, which obviously has all these inputs. We have the characters and integer values, and then we also have the customer ID sets the primary key. Then we have the orders table, again similar. We have, except the only difference is we have order cost as a decimal, which is 10 2, which means that we can have 2 points after the decimal and 10 before. And then we also have order ID as the primary key. And then we have organization table. Obviously, this will only have one input, as the only organization we're working with here is Moonpig, but we still have organization ID, name, address, and phone. And obviously, we have the characters again and integers. And here we have organization ID again as the primary key. Then we have social media interactions where we have all these inputs, and this is really similar to the clicks because we also have campaign ID and customer ID as the foreign keys, with social ID as the primary key, and then we have integers, date, time, and bar chart. We have the team table where we have all these inputs. We have integers and bar charts, and also the team ID as the primary key. We have website visits, again following a similar layout to clicks, which has the campaign ID and customer ID as the foreign keys, the visits ID is the primary key, and then obviously these are the columns in the table. The next thing I did was create this view, which will show, the interaction count column will show the total number of interactions for each unique combination of campaign name and interaction type. And the name of the view will be campaign interactions. So the select function here selects retrieves data from two tables, campaign and social media interactions, in particular, these two columns in the tables. Count star is used to count the number of interactions for each group, which is returned as a column named interaction count, obviously from campaign. The join keyword here is used to match the records in both tables based on the campaign ID column on the campaign ID. Group by here is used to group the results by campaign name and interaction type. Then this is an example here of the insert statement I would use to populate the database. So insert into table name, campaign, and then these are all the column names in the campaign table. And then the values that I wanted to put in are here in these brackets. And obviously they correlate with the following column name. And then just to check that this was all good and into the table as I wanted, I would do select star from campaign, which would just produce this over here and meant that I could check all my inserts. Okay, so here we can see is my Python code, and this is where I will be performing my current operations. So the first thing I wanted to do was connect to the database. As we can see here, let's just scroll along. Okay, so the first query I wanted to do was my select query, and here I'm just selecting all from campaign, and that will then appear in the terminal below. And then the next one is my create. So here I'm just creating a new customer into my table, and this is obviously all the inputs that I want. And then here I'm just writing my SQL statement in quotation marks. If I just scroll along so that you can see that. And the values are set as question marks so that it doesn't clash with the Python code. Obviously, we can see the column names here as well, and then just committing that to the table. And then the next thing I wanted to do was read my read statement. And then here we're just selecting all from social media interactions where the interaction type is like. So obviously that's the table name. And then obviously we want in the terminal below all the interaction types that are like to appear. And then here we're just printing that. We're fetching and printing. And then we wanted to update the customer table where customer ID is 6 and we want to change their age to 80, again committing it. And then here the delete, we want to delete from the orders table where the order ID is 17 and then commit that to the database. Okay, then just to check all this before I run my code, so you can see before, as we can see, we don't have customer ID 18 and customer ID 6, his age is 78, and obviously want to change that to 80. We're just going to do the same for orders. And as you can see here, order number 17 is still in there. Okay, so we're just going to run the code. As you can see here in the terminal below, we have all the campaign names. That's from our first select statement. And then the second lot of information here is all the information in the social media interactions table where the interaction type is like. So then we're just going to check our orders table. As we can see here, customer ID, order ID number 17 has gone. Then we're just going to check the customer table. As we can see, customer ID 6, his age is now 80. And then we're just going to check customer ID 18 is here as well, and he has been inputted into the table using the create statement. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to do here was obtain some summary statistics from the campaign interactions table. So as we can see here, the select statement is selecting campaign name and interaction type, which are 2 columns in the campaign interactions table. The sum function is used to calculate the total interactions for each combination of campaign name and interaction type. This is going to appear as total interactions and obviously from the campaign interactions table. And then again, we're grouping by campaign name and interaction type. And then here the results are being fetched and printed in the terminal below. So if we just execute the code, and then we can see in this terminal below, we just scroll up, that obviously for each interaction type, so share, comment, like, it gives each campaign and how many, the total interactions for each type.